Last week we had the Walmart leak. This week we got the Nintendo leak. I loved this season. So as with all of these leaks, take it with a grain of salt. I'll reinforce that more towards the end as kind of introduce a null hypothesis here. But first, obviously I've been covering a lot of leaks and just different things leading up until E3. I've been trying to keep a number of these videos very fact-based and based in reality. So if you guys enjoy this type of content, you can subscribe. I'm really trying to push towards 250,000 subscribers and we're getting closer and closer. Either way, today's leak's actually going to be from none other than Nintendo. Yes, that Nintendo. So what leaked is what would seemingly be an internal document used at Nintendo actually showing some of the things they're showing at their E3 conference. There are quite a few different things on there, so I'll actually read through them real quick. And to be clear, pretty much everything on this list is for the Nintendo Switch, since that's like their only real main console at this point. Of course, there's like the 3DS and things like that, but everything on this list is seemingly intended for the Nintendo Switch. So in the first section, it's called Intro Trailer, so this is probably like going to be at the front of their E3 conference like a lot of these companies do. And in that, we actually have Dragon Ball FighterZ, FIFA 2019, NBA 2K19, Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy, Octopath Traveler, and Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. So obviously out of those games listed, only one of them is really in my category, that being Bethesda Softworks. Wolfenstein 2 getting ported over to Nintendo Switch makes a lot of sense. Ever since its release, Bethesda has been announcing a ton of ports over to the Nintendo Switch, and we expected that at this E3. Wolfenstein 2 getting ported over is going to be a great addition because it was an amazing game and it's going to be a ton of fun to play it on handheld wherever you are. And even beyond that, again, it kind of coincides with this existing narrative. So check one. All those seem pretty plausible and I like what I'm hearing so far. Then we have Super Smash Bros. For the Switch. This is something we've heard a bit about. Obviously, there's been rumblings about this game for a long time. It actually listed as having a trailer, a software demo, as well as a tournament available. For some of these other ones, I'm just going to briefly go over them because I'm not a Nintendo channel. I can't really go too in depth on many of these games. We have Punch Out, Become the Champion. There it's seemingly going to be a trailer and a software demo. Metro Prime Renegade, there we're going to get a trailer as well as some gameplay footage. So what I think that's actually going to mean is we'll see a trailer, but then maybe one of those extended cuts that are like 5 to 10 minutes long of someone just playing through the game. Splatoon 2, Octo Expansion, Fire Emblem Memories, and then the exciting one, the one that I made this video for, Fallout 3 Anniversary, where they list a trailer and gameplay footage. So that's really exciting, and this again makes a lot of sense. I actually tweeted a few days ago that do we really think Bethesda Game Studios is going to do nothing for Fallout's 10-year anniversary? Specifically Fallout 3's 10-year anniversary, but also that was the first game they released after they acquired the license from Interplay. Fallout 3 and the ensuing saga was massive for Bethesda and has made them literally billions of dollars, and it just seems like something that makes a lot of sense to celebrate. So before we get into the speculation, I'll finish off the list. We also do have Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. This they only list a trailer, and I'm really curious about this. There's been a lot of rumblings about this one, also a lot of leaks actually pertaining to this game in particular, which in my eyes can serve to increase the validity of this list. I've actually been waiting for a Pokemon game to buy a Nintendo Switch because I've just always been a really big Pokemon fan ever since I was a kid, and even back on this channel I used to make Pokemon videos or Pixelmon, Pokemon at Minecraft. But more or less some of the details about this game, it seems like it's going to have Pokemon Go integration. This was something that they almost did with the last generation of games, but it seems like they never actually made that functionality live, it was just implemented into the game. Again, this is really interesting, especially the naming. It seems like it's going to be a remake of the original Pokemon Yellow, or kind of a modern retake on that same concept in Kanto. And I don't know, from what I'm hearing right now, I'm like less than hyped for it, because I normally would be mega hyped for a Pokemon game, and again, I'm going to drop $300 to $400 just to play this game and buy a new console. Either way, I'll stop it there, we'll just move on. Next we do have F-Zero SX, Fortnite, Star Fox, Lilat system. So obviously Fortnite on the Switch makes a lot of sense from that company. The game has been selling amazingly, and yeah, that's actually a pretty cool release on that console. Fortnite's actually made in the Unreal Engine, which is a game engine that a bunch of games are made off of. And people in the past have mentioned that it's actually quite easy to port Unreal Engine games to the Nintendo Switch, and the Nintendo Switch being the highest selling console ever, and Fortnite being the pretty much most popular game right now. It makes sense that those two are going to go hand in hand, and I imagine the people behind Fortnite, Epic Games, are going to make a lot of money off this. Again, all of that assuming this is totally true. So let's think back at that Fallout 3 anniversary. Again, it's the 10-year anniversary of Fallout 3 coming this year. Many people are expecting Bethesda Game Studios to actually announce a totally new game. So unfortunately, I think the reality of this Fallout 3 anniversary is a bit disappointing. I think this is going to be a soft remake, not a full port to the new engine. If you guys don't know, Fallout 4 is actually a step above the Fallout 3 engine. Fallout 3 is on Gamebryo, Fallout 4 is on the Creation engine. Fallout 4 has higher graphical fidelity, there's just a lot more possible in the game, as well as you have changes to the combat system, to the power armor, animation improvements. All that is brought about by this better engine. Skyrim and Fallout 4 are the only two games so far by Bethesda Game Studios on this new engine. It would be a considerable feat to actually get Fallout 3 Anniversary on this new engine, so what I think is going to happen here is Fallout 3 Anniversary is going to have updated graphics, maybe some more stability, but still be on that same old engine. And the reason I think they're going to do that is because I think Bethesda Game Studios is also going to announce a new game, like a new AAA game, whether it be Starfield or a new Elder Scrolls or a new Fallout, whatever the new big game is from them this year. I think that is coming, but if you guys don't know, Fallout 3 actually came out in October. Bethesda has been releasing a lot of their games in November, so if this Fallout 3 on the Switch comes out in October, they won't really take away so much from the new game. It'll come out about a month beforehand, people can play it, enjoy it, and as the hype dies down for that one, their next big new announcement will be coming out. Now obviously that timeline isn't perfect, but it definitely makes a lot of sense. And I think taking all those things together, the 10-year anniversary, this leak, as well as the potential of a new game, what I'm dubbing a soft remaster, is the most likely outcome here. It'll play the same way as the old Fallout 3, hopefully with a bit more stability and with updated graphics to an extent, with the main selling point being that it is on the Nintendo Switch. Obviously that's not what a lot of us are hoping for. The best case scenario in my eyes is actually a full port to this creation engine, the combat mimicking Fallout 4's combat and the power armor system being changed and newly implemented, but at the same time still having Fallout 4's world space and story, and then of course having mod support on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. I would love that. I think that'd be amazing, and I think it's extremely unlikely. I think this Fallout 3 Anniversary being a Switch exclusive could be pretty plausible, and I actually think that's where they might be going with this. Obviously it could be wrong, this is all speculation, and actually that's where I want to get into the null hypothesis aspect of this video. This list is extremely easy to make. I'm too lazy to actually do it, but I could literally make an identical list in like 20 minutes using Photoshop or Microsoft Word or a combination of the two, and then take a haphazard photo of it. So obviously take everything from this video with a massive grain of salt. The one thing that makes me feel a little bit more reassured that this may have some legitimacy behind it though is actually Fallout 3 Anniversary Edition appearing on this list. If you look at this, pretty much every other game outside of Fortnite is, you know, a Nintendo game. It's a game you associate with Nintendo that people are hoping to see, and that a Nintendo fanboy creating a fake leak would include on a list like this. The two standouts there are of course Fortnite and Fallout 3 Anniversary. Fortnite, you know, it's the biggest game right now. Again, it makes a ton of sense for someone to throw that on this list. Fallout 3 Anniversary, on the other hand, is way less likely. For somebody to actually associate Fallout 3 Anniversary with all these other games, I feel like just isn't that common. Not many people would do that. You know, it could be that guy just again realizes that Bethesda's porting a lot of things over, and he actually knows that Fallout 3's 10-year anniversary is now. It's probably obviously why he would include the anniversary aspect in the title. But I just think the combination of games featuring Wolfenstein, Fortnite, and Fallout 3 among all these Nintendo games gets me, you know, kind of skeptical. Either way, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. As always, again, I thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. But actually, before we end this one off, I do have like some updates and of course the psych fun fact of the day. First and foremost, I finished my last final today, which, whew, thank God. Well, my last final until next semester, or potentially the semester after that also. But of course now I do have the summer, so some updates regarding that. I'm actually going to try and start like a schedule over the summer. I think I mentioned this in another video, but more or less I want to try and get videos out at noon every single day and live stream, I don't know, a few times a week at like a set time. So maybe it'd be 6 p.m. or I don't know, 5 p.m. I want to try and maximize the amount of people that could watch it. Now, of course, none of this is set in stone. I'm going to try and find the right time. I've always gone for like a noon upload time. And over the next week, I'll probably take it a little bit easy because I just finished my finals and I have to move out of my apartment now and, you know, all that fun stuff. But of course, even beyond that, I actually have E3 coming up and I am going to E3. I don't believe I'm going to go to Bethesda's press conference personally. If you guys don't know, E3 is actually on the 12th to the 14th, I believe. Bethesda's press conference on the 10th. So I'm not going to change my flight to go 3 days early to go to one press conference and sit around for 3 days until the rest start. But either way, I actually will be live streaming Bethesda's press conference and doing like a live commentary, like a pre-show, the commentary on the press conference, and then a reaction at the end as to what gets announced. Hopefully Fallout 3 Anniversary Edition, hopefully Starfield. And I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about, but largely the takeaway here being a lot of cool content coming. E3 is only like less than a month away now, which is absolutely insane. My flight is under 4 weeks away. But now for this fun fact. Today's not really a fun fact, it's more of a psych insight. So recently I actually just took a class, I just finished it, I submit a final paper on human factors or UX design or just design, depending on what you want to call it. More or less, this is going to be somebody that actually works on applications or websites, but the design of it. Yeah, that actually is a field of psychology, but not so much the beautification of it, but the fundamentals, like when you click this button, it goes here, doing user testing and research and things like that. More on the fundamental side of things, like which functions take you where, how large to place buttons, are buttons visible, are things obvious, things like that. And something really interesting I learned about this class, the way this works at many companies, and these types of people are hired at, Apple, Google. My personal professor was actually at IBM. And the way this works is they actually use this thing called design thinking or human-centered design. So people are actually a massive part of this process when building different apps. So more or less, they actually start off by just thinking up of ideas. So first and foremost, all 4 people on the team, let's say, will each think of ideas individually, then they combine those ideas, then they take that idea, make it into a low fidelity mock-up, and then they actually show that to users and continue to reiterate while actually having interviews with users or surveying them. YouTube does this all the time where you'll get a upcoming version of the YouTube website, but it'll only be to 1% of the users and you get it at random. And I found this really interesting because how often have you thought you're using something, you're did anyone test this? The new Snapchat. So many people were pissed about that and it's did anyone test this? Well, yeah, evidently people did test it. That's actually a pretty fundamental process in design, but for some reason they decided to go live with it. But that's pretty much it for this video. As always, again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.